Plaintiff, Dean Cooley, says the defendant is a masseuse, but she's known to perform sexual favors on the side for extra money. Dean claims after he got a massage, the defendant offered him sex, and they began exchanging sex for pot. Dean is suing the defendant for breach of contract. Defendant Kat Roberts-Brown insists she is a legitimate massage therapist who has never offered sexual favors as part of her services. Kat admits that she and Dean were friends with benefits, but she insists he's suing her for more than she owes.
All right, start with you.
We had a mutual friend that introduced us. I knew she was a masseuse and did sexual favors on the side for extra money.
Okay, because I hear some do that.
Yes,
most
sir.
do not. And they, how does that happen? I've always wondered, because undercover agents. No, seriously, that's very easy for an undercover to go in there and bust the place. If the woman offers, so a man has to take the risk, or if a man's taking the risk and say, hey, do you also do such and such? How does it happen?
She does it in her home.
I know, but do you ask or they offer? Because somebody committed an illegal act, and if one or the other is an undercover police officer, the person who offered or asked first is the person who committed the crime. So that's what I'm asking. How does it go? Anybody know y'all playing crazy? Anybody know? How does it go? Does the woman masseuse ask or you ask?
I think she asked. It's been a while since it was there.
Wow.
Yeah, last week.
You used to get last week.
Well, after the first one, it was all.
It's a known fact. All right. So they know what you showing up for. When your car pull up, they go ahead.
So after one of the nights that I had a massage, she offered sex.
Okay.
And that started our relationship. I grew pot legally in Denver, and she smoked an awful lot of it. That I asked her, would she do sex for pot?
And it became a regular occurrence?
Yes, sir.
And how did that end?
Well, for about a year and a half.
I'm not talking about the... Not talking about one occasion, sir. I'm talking about your friendship or relationship or business ties, however you want to characterize it. How did that end?
It ended I was a chauffeur for her for about a year and a half.
Why did you all stop having the sexual relations?
It was after she got a car.
How did the car influence you all's relations?
I loaned her some money to buy the car.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. While you all were still having relations,
yes,
you loaned her money. Give me some background, ma'am.
Well, sir, I am a massage therapist. I've got a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. I don't do sexual favors for massages. I make my own money, make my own way by doing massages legitimately. Now, I can say that he grew pot illegally before he didn't even have a license. So anyway,
so he's making this up, obviously.
Yes, he did come to me as a client, and we began a friends with benefits relationship.
But it didn't come from the fact that you were doing some illegal transaction with him as part of your masseuse business. Mm-hmm.
No, and I do massages out of my home. I've been doing this for 10 years. And that's the way I make my living.
Sure, and there's a lot of, that's a very valuable service for a lot of people. Go ahead.
So we had this friends with benefits relationship for about a year. He did give me pot. I do smoke pot, smoke a lot. And
how many a day?
Oh, I probably smoke 2 or 3 joints a day.
I'm trying to think of when you become when you cross over to a weed head.
I don't know. I'm a stoner. I'll say it.
Stoner, all right. Stoner is / weed head. All right. Go ahead. You're a weed head. And now what else?
So we had this friends with benefits relationship about a year.
You said that already.
And he was...
See what weed do to you? So can't remember what you already said.
During the time that we would go out, and he was really cheap. We'd most of the time go Dutch. He wouldn't pay for me to go somewhere. So, and you know, the friends with benefits and the sex was bad. He was very selfish in bed. And
wow.
so he did loan me the money for the car.
Okay, let me allow him to get to that.
Okay.
The car you're suing her about, the loan. What was the agreement? Let's start there.
The agreement was she would pay me $100 or $200 a month.
How much was the loan?
$2,000.
$2,000 loan.
And she paid $300, and then she quit paying. And the last payment was 11/2016. And I have a promissory note here.
Let's see it, please. Ma'am, what do you say to this?
Well, he did loan me the money, and our first initial discussion about the car, when he told me that I needed a car, was that he would pay half of it.
No.
When I purchased a car.
Did not say I'd pay half.
So, under the agreement that, you know, he'd pay half of it,
No,
I
did not say that.
accepted the car under those terms.
This says the balance is $1,700, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
That's not bad.
I did sign that, but the reason that I did, he was crying about that was his retirement money. He had 3 grandkids at home that he had bills for, and he needed his money back.
Did you Did you remind him about the weed he was growing and should be making money off of?
Well, yeah, he had quit them because he was afraid he was going to get caught. So he had quit growing.
I thought you said it was legal.
It
All
was.
right, ma'am. None of these defenses, however, overcome this note that you
Well,
signed.
when I paid him $100 in June, I paid him $200 in July. In August, I offered him $160.
You offered, so let's stop at July. If you breached the partial payment agreement, he can collect it all at one time, and you've admittedly breached it, didn't pay him on time. Do you want to raise your hand and say something, huh?
I do.
About to give you a judgment. What do you got to say?
Well, I didn't take that $100 payment because she complained about food stamps, that she got disability from the state.
Okay, so you say you don't have to pay me this payment. No, she didn't breach it. You just said. You told her you don't have to pay me right now.
Yes.
And that means she didn't breach the contract, sir.
Yes, sir.
And the last time you tried to pay $200 was when?
I tried to pay him $160.
And that's when he said you don't have to pay me now. When was that?
August 2016.
You haven't paid him anything since?
No, sir.
Well, I'm sure he'll take it now. Judgment for the plaintiff. When the judge is about to give you something, you need to be quiet. I told you you couldn't tell. That we got you so messed up, you couldn't tell that I was about to give you a judgment? Well, before you give me a judgment, I did tell her she didn't have to pay. Judgment for the plaintiff.
We haven't had
Friends
one.
with benefits is what it was, and it wasn't even beneficial to me.
Well, she got a lot of pot, at least 3 ounces a week.